Rebuild of the favorites. We here for the latest. South side or the north side. Not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams. Both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball. But we don't put the wrong strings. Yeah. It's that time of the year now. Wrigley or Gantes or the whole league that we hear now. New show with a new mood. Discussions and interviews. Trade rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife.
What's going on, everybody? This is Pinwheels and Ivy. You found us. Mitch, your mic didn't mute during the theme song, so that was that weird echo fids.
That's what that was.
Yeah, I just muted it. It's not now it's good. But all right, let's get the tweets and all that stuff. What's up, Mailman Jack? Appreciate you with the pre-show comment there, bud. Where is it? I gotta retweet it and shit.
An electric opening.
Hold on. I flip it on, dude. It's like a light switch as soon as we're
Pinwheels and Ivy podcast, as exciting as the 2022 White Sox.
Yeah. Setting the tone.
Setting the tone. What other cliche?
Oh no! Did the Cubs just blow another lead?
Oh, they were up 5-0.
All right.
They did. All right.
All right. You guys ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, September 1st. Man, we're in September. And you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I'm your host, Matt Zawoski,
a.k.a.
31st.
The show comes out the next day, Mitch.
I'm talking about the live people. I'm sorry. My bad, you people listening on Spotify.
This guy?
What a
Jesus
jacket.
Christ.
I'm going to see myself out.
It's just one of those rookie moments. He goes away for a week,
Right?
comes back. That's the whole rundown.
3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, September 1st, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I am your host, Matt Zawoski, a.k.a. Southside Zoe, a.k.a. Father Zoe, and with me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
I am not editing that out. That is all staying in.
The good Reverend K. Fitz.
It's just me staying out of White Sox business.
Well, you already said the team name once, bud.
Oh, shit.
And the rookie,
failed.
NASCAR Mitch.
That was a rookie mistake there. I ain't going to lie.
Yes.
On a veteran team like this, you get pads for mistakes like this. This ain't no Tony La Russa squad.
Oh, man, do we have a lot to talk about, and none of it's good. White Sox stink. Apparently, Tony's health stinks. Lance Lynn had a no-hitter until he just gave up a solo shot to Bobby Witt Jr. right when we were doing the intro.
I mean,
Yeah.
Mitch, what did you say? Setting the tone. Like,
Setting the tone, boys. So we're just going to dive right into everything. As always, if you're joining us live, please get in the comment section. If you are listening to us the next day, please like, subscribe. We appreciate all the love. Let's have this guy. As always, the show is brought to you by Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you're downloading the app, turning on push notifications so you can see all the great stories that Eric Lambert and crew write about the Chicago Bears, Sports Mockery, and sportsmockery.com. All right, so I guess we just got to talk about the biggest news story right now in White Sox land is so Tony La Russa missed the game with the team on Tuesday night. And we didn't really know what was going on. It was just, they said after visiting with doctors for health reasons, and then they would provide an update Wednesday before the game. It was Wednesday before the game. We got an update that he is now out indefinitely, and he is back in Phoenix to see his personal doctors. So there's a couple things here I'm going to say, and then we'll flip it over to you guys. But first and foremost, as we've said about a bunch of guys when they've gotten injured, and we've covered every kind of incident on this show. We've been doing this show for that long. We've sexual allegations, fucking guys breaking their legs, guys getting hurt, whatever. We've covered all. Okay. And the one thing that I've remained consistent, we've all remained consistent about through this whole thing is, yes, they are professional athletes or professional managers or whatever. That is their occupation. But at the end of the day, they're still a human being. They're still someone's dad. They're still someone's husband. They're still someone's uncle. They're still someone's something. So for me, I think it's really fucking weird that people are wishing death upon this man because he did not do well as a baseball manager. Say that out loud to yourself if you're one of those people. Yeah, you kind of feel like an asshole. And you should. I mean, I don't know. That to me, I just had to get that off my chest right away because, you know what, people are entitled to their opinion. I know some people think it's funny, some people whatever, but like, imagine if you're like Tony La Russa's nephew, and you go on Twitter and you see all these people like dancing because they think he's like almost dead. Like, that's kind of really fucked, in my opinion. I hope Tony nothing but the best in recovery. I've mentioned multiple times on this podcast that I do not agree with the job he did this second time around with the White Sox. That does not change. But I have this weird capability to separate my baseball fandom from being like just like a decent human being. But that's, I don't know, maybe that's, but so I don't know. I'm just gonna, before I go out, I can probably talk about this for like an hour. So it sucks. We wish Tony the best. You know, hopefully he can have full recovery. I also think this is a pretty good indication that Tony La Russa's second stint with the White Sox is over. I don't see how he comes back from something like this. I also think this is something that they've had to have known was very possible as a challenge when you hire a guy who left baseball almost 20 years ago because of health concerns. So 20 years and a pacemaker later, he gets back in the game.
10 years.
10 years later, sorry, 10 years later, he gets back in the game on a team in a major city that is supposed to do well. That right away is going to give you health problems. You know what I mean? Like, that's rough. I mean, that's stressful for anybody. You know, I'm 38, I think. Yeah, carry the one. Yeah, I'm 38. So that would stress me out. But now you got this guy in there who he's done it all. He's seen it all twice. And he should be handled. But at the end of the day, there's still pressure, man. When you hear 20,000 people chanting "Fire Tony," like, I don't care if you're made of stone, that's still going to get to you, and you're going to feel that heat. And I got to imagine all of this coming together. It's just not good for the old ticker, man. And he's got a pacemaker and everything. Like, yeah, I think Tony's days as a bullpen general have come to an end. Go ahead, Fids. What do you got?
I mean, you pretty much said it all, man. I just it's pretty interesting that a kid's game could be taken so serious that you wish, you know, death, the final, the eternal, the infinite end on somebody because he didn't coach well on a baseball team that you root for or a sports team that you root for, and that right there is just, you know, people got to look themselves in the mirror every morning. And if you can look yourself in the mirror in the morning and tell yourself you're a good human being, even though you've wished death and someone else's family member to leave this earth, then look around at the people that you love and ask yourself if you're okay with someone saying the same thing about those people as well. And you hit on it. It's perfect. It's taking this shit way too serious. I can understand. Look, you can not like how someone coaches. You can not like how someone feels politically. But you don't wish death on other people. I mean, you can wish death on bad guys, sure, whatever. If you think that's, you know, I mean, I struggled with even wishing death on the most hated people in the world. Like, I don't feel that way. So this is a rough thing. It was kind of weird to see too, and weird to see some pushback on it. But in the end, you know, Tony La Russa may not coach another game with the Chicago White Sox. And but I just need to know. I'm just so curious what fans think. Like, what do you think it's going to accomplish other than continually kicking the dirt onto the grave of this White Sox season by going out there and 20,000 people booing their friend, booing the team or holding up, sell the team signs? Do they think that that's going to somehow get the White Sox out of this funk and kick them into it, or are they just ready to just give up with 6 games back with 5 weeks left to go in the season or whatever? How does that conducive to helping out and giving your team a home field advantage? It doesn't feel that way to me, but
this team is probably, and Mitch, I know I'm a little bit older than you, but this is probably the most frustrating White Sox team I've ever watched. The level of expectation going into the season was so high. I'm sure if we played back like any episode of this show, like right before the season started, I was like on cloud 9. Like, I was flying. I thought this was going to be an insane season.
I think it was Jason Goff who tweeted during Tuesday night's game against the Royals. He's like, "Remember all the shit we were talking as White Sox fans?" Yeah,
and he's not wrong.
Yeah,
and I mean, I know a lot of people don't like Jason. I get that too. And people were like, "Who's we?" We all were. We're all
yeah.
guilty of it in some aspect of it. You talk
Well,
shit about this White Sox.
Pacoda, which is usually pretty conservative with their projections, had him at 95 wins.
Yeah.
And that tells you
Mhm.
all you need to know. And like 2 more. So, yeah, it's
And
just funny.
injuries happen.
Dude,
Yeah.
well, that's the thing too. Is you save the vitriol for guys that aren't hustling, that aren't playing the game right, the guys that aren't giving giving it out. You don't save the vitriol for guys that are struggling. You're just kicking the dirt on that. Like when it comes to that, so like it's what you're saying with this is it's okay to be upset. Again, I say it for Cubs. The Cubs used to be called really was the friendly confines, and it's no longer the friendly confines when the Cubs matter. People are terrible there too. And it's we've gone away from just good hustle. It didn't work out, but you're trying. You'll get them next time. Now it's I hate you. You suck. You're a horrible human. I want you dead because you didn't move the runner over with a guy on third and less than 2 out. Or guy.
It's gotten
personal.
It's gotten kind of weird.
It is.
It's gotten kind of weird. There's no better way to put it. It's gotten kind of weird, man.
Make
Like
it personal. Like it's a
It's
game.
even just going back to the Tony La Russa point, even if you don't like him as a manager, which I think most Sox fans don't, is that really how you wanted it to end? Like that's not satisfying for anyone.
no, I want.
You would rather have him be healthy, finish out the season. The White Sox, take some accountability, and that would be the way to end his tenure. Not like this. No one wants to see it end like that.
And I totally agree, Mitch. And then I guess with that point, as the White Sox are still on this losing streak this is it for the season. It gets you started to think. And we're already seeing it a lot on Twitter and stuff like that. People already are posting like, I would do this off season. And so I got a couple things to kind of liven up the show a little bit. I
know where you're going with this. And by the way, Aldo and I have already been preparing for this game since April.
What you would do for change the White Sox?
Oh, I thought you were talking about what we're doing in the off season.
Well, yeah, just what you're doing in the off season. Because
planning for our off season.
Literally, in my head, I picture there's two. Are the White Sox at home or on the road the last game of the season? That kind of indicates.
Ooh, let's see.
Road, I believe.
Okay, so
it's in San Diego, isn't it?
San Diego, yeah.
Okay, so it's the top of the ninth
Man.
in San Diego. Everyone's nice and warm, having some beers. It's a nice day. So let's say Yasmani Grandal hits a shallow pop.
No. They end the season 3 games at home against the Twins.
Okay.
AJ
Pollock just hit a solo bomb. We're 1-1.
There you go.
Okay, so bottom of the ninth. Yasmani Grandal hits a weak dog dick pop out.
With runners in scoring position.
Of course.
Yeah.
And as the ball is entering the leather of the second baseman's mitt, someone needs to be handing Frank Menachino his papers saying you are gone. It has to be like ball, mitt, papers, hand. Boom, 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 boom. That's my first thing I'm doing.
Well, the players aren't going to find out until it's posted on Twitter.
Right. Well, I'm getting to that as well. So after that's done, that's just for me, that needs to be the first thing done, right out the chute. Just get that out of the way. Just give us some kind of W to end the season. This organization needs to take a long, hard look in the mirror right now. It has been, to say it's been a shit show this year is putting it nicely. The Tony La Russa news comes out and you have some of your star players saying, oh, I didn't know until I looked up at the scoreboard. Oh, I didn't know until I saw it on Twitter. Which, by the way, Andrew Vaughn definitely has burner accounts because I cannot find him on Twitter. So he definitely has burners. But go ahead, Mitch.
Well, not only that, a bunch of the guys were talking after the game about how scary it was because the fact they didn't address anything to him, you're assuming the worst. Most Sox fans are when you hear the 77-year-old manager all of a sudden has to leave with health problems. Everyone's like, huh. Is it a heart attack? Is it something serious? And so it's hard to focus on the game when you're worried about your manager the entire time. You would think they would at least give him some sort of information before that happened or sit them all down. The fact that everyone was finding out at different times is so concerning. I don't know. It just seemed
it was brutal.
It was weird.
But
yeah.
That's not the first instance though where shit like this has happened in this organization this year. They're putting the wrong player's picture up with the names or the signature. What was it with Montgomery? That's top to bottom kind of stuff. And
spelling,
I get it. Mistakes happen. But like this organization, I mean, from top to bottom, this organization needs to take a hard. In a perfect world, they just basically clean house and start new. Jerry ain't doing that though.
Well, and that's what
I'm so curious if they pay their employees what would be considered around the league what everybody else gets, or if the White Sox, kind of skirt even on that kind of part of it, and you're getting lesser talent people in those jobs, like in your PR department, or you're not paying for too many, analytics people in your organization already at this point too. So like you've got all these people that are doing these jobs, and maybe it's more a mom and pop than we really realize because of the size and scope of being pro baseball. But perhaps it is that mom and pop that they're hiring, interns to do things that aren't intern style jobs. And
and
5 analytic people, 5.
Right. And initially that's why, like, initially when I was like, because I was writing something about this earlier, I was thinking like, okay, well, maybe, players are warming up. It was literally like within an hour before the game that the news came out. So maybe they couldn't get it out. But then you bring up all the other instances that they have bungled in the past, and like they lose all benefit of the doubt. So you just assume they fucked this one up too because of everything else they have messed up in the past.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. So here's my problem with a lot of these off-season plans that I'm already seeing. And I give people props for putting their shit out there, because once you put something out there on Twitter, you're going to get like 5 immediate replies that says like, this is fucking terrible. Fuck you. Like, it's again, it is brutal in the White Sox Twitter streets right now.
You could say like,
oh, it's a nice sunny 72-degree day. Fuck you.
Fuck
It's
you.
like, it's like, okay, I gotcha. But I give people credit that are putting it out there. And Josh Nelson at Sox Machine, they do a great thing every offseason where people submit their offseason plans, and everybody reads them and comments, and that's always a lot of fun. We did an episode where we put ours together and submitted it. We should do that again. But my problem is 2 things. One, people need to, I guess there needs to be more self-realization. Like, they're like, oh, trade this guy, do this, and then hire this guy and move it. Jerry ain't doing none of that shit. It's like, guys, Jerry ain't doing none of that. And all this sell the team shit, I'm all for it. Like, I'm very pro Jerry not owning this team anymore. And I think that's actually closer to a reality than it's ever has been. But people also need to realize, watch how this Angel sale goes down.
Yep.
It's not like going to the fucking store and buying a pack of smokes. Like, this is like a 2-year process. Like, it's not going to happen like overnight.
And the MLB does not want multiple teams for sale at the same time. And I think there's another team besides the Angels that also wanted to, the Nationals wanted to go for sale. So they'll be next in line. So even if he wanted to sell the team, which I don't think he does, because he's openly admitted he likes the baseball team more than he likes
the other way around.
No, I think he cares about the White Sox more than he does.
I thought he told his kids, when I die, keep the Bulls, sell the White Sox.
I think he personally
likes the White Sox more. Okay. Baseball is his first love. So I don't think he's selling it anytime soon. And even if he wanted to, he's 3rd on the list for owners that want to sell it. And like you said, it's a long process. There's not a whole lot of people that have like $40 million lying around. Probably more than that, honestly, to buy a team. But yeah.
And you're also going to see a decline in the product on the field. Because during a sale, there's just another focus completely. And
look what the Nationals did, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, the Nationals are just terrible. But
be careful what you wish for.
So I wanted to ask you guys. So all these already getting ready for the off-season plans.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about him before, and I'm pretty sure you both, Mitch and Zoe, you guys are both like more pro Han than against overall.
This year kind of powered me on him.
But at this point, how much trust do you have that he's the guy to fix this shit?
My faith in Han took a absolute fucking nosedive when they did nothing at the trade deadline this year.
Yep.
That's a really tough one to bounce back from. Mm-hmm. I still I'm not even like hamming it up for the show or anything, but like it'll be like 10:30 at night. I'm getting ready to go to bed because I'm old balls, and I'm sitting outside having like one last fucking heater before I go to sleep, and it'll just like randomly hit me that I'll just be sitting there. I'll be like, they didn't make one good fucking trade at the deadline. Like, it's still to this day, like it just hits me in the back of the head, and that's a really tough one to get my trust. He's gonna have to like go out and like get Aaron Judge or something. Like it's gonna need to be like something fucking huge.
The one move we did make was to add a reliever with an ERA north of 5 right now for us. So
That they don't even who's a lefty specialist that they're not even bringing in to get out left. Anyways. So number one is you need to be more in the realm of real. Number two, and I feel like I do this too. So I'm, he without sin cast the first stone. I definitely do this too. But there seems to be like a group of like 5 names that White Sox fans are like clinging onto as we're gonna go get that guy. Like there's hundreds of other ball players out there, but it's like, oh, we're gonna go get Montaz or whatever the pitcher's name is. Like
Frankie.
Yeah, Frankie. Go get Frankie this offseason. It's like, bro, like it's a new offseason. There's new players available. Like it doesn't have to be what's the right fielder that Conforto. Conforto's not fucking Ohtani. Like
yeah, let's get the guy that's coming off an injury that hasn't played in a year. He'll be much better than AJ Pollock.
All we know, Conforto's like in a little hut sniffing glue. Like I don't know what the hell this guy's been doing for a whole year. There's a reason why he hasn't been picked up by any major league team. This is Puig all over again. We should go get Puig. Well, no, there's a reason why he's unemployed, and then we find out why he's still unemployed, and he's playing in. I think he's in Mexico now. Mm-hmm. But there's a reason why Michael Conforto is unemployed. Like, so I keep seeing these lists of people, these early off-season moves, and it's like, go get Frankie Montaz, sign Michael Conforto, trade this guy, do that, and it's like, bro, there's like thousands of other ball players they can choose from. Like, you gotta get off those like same 5 guys. That is my biggest. And so I've always been told since I was a little kid, don't complain without offering a solution. And unfortunately, I don't have an off-season plan right now. Like I want to sit down and I really want to think this out because I'm seeing way too many people wanting to trade Eloy. Eloy's been the best player on his team second half of the season. Him and Jose Abreu-ish. The other thing is, how are people so easy to be like, all right, well, just let Jose walk? It's
there are 2 things that, oh God, there are 2 things on White Sox Twitter that are like really, really annoying me. One is other people, oh, we should have brought back Carlos or not like that. Like, look, I know Carlos was good and all, and he's been healthy this year, but that move actually made sense to me. Like, because at the time he was always hurt. You had a solid 5 in the rotation. The starting pitching has really not been the problem this year. So it's like that annoys me. And the Jose Abreu one, yeah, well, we got to let the big guy go. It's like he's been like an anomaly. He showed no signs of slowing down in his production. Now, the home run numbers have taken a slight dip this year, but he's the only guy that's been like a true professional all year. You have no complaints there. Great clubhouse guy. His production hasn't dipped at all, and he's worked his ass off. So if there's anyone that deserves to be brought back and at least like a hometown discount or like, yeah, you pay a little bit more for him, it's Jose Abreu. Because what type of precedent are you setting if you let him walk?
Question. Because I want to actually, Mitch, hold off on this. I want to hear from the 2 outsiders looking in. You are running the show. What do you offer Jose after the season?
How old is he? 35?
We're all about facts in this show. So let me make sure I get his birthday and time exact.
I think his last contract was like 3 for $50, around that.
Well, I know Alex isn't listening because he would have told me right away.
He got 18 mil this year. The contract was 11 mil in 2020, 16 mil in 2021. He
was born in 87.
So that puts him
at so he's
35, 220 days.
But it was January of 87, so he's turning 36.
Yeah, his age 36 season. The production is still going strong, though.
2 years, one with a club option. 16 million.
But I want to hear it from them.
I'm sorry.
Hear it from them.
I mean, yeah, like you definitely have to go. You definitely have to go. Like you no matter what, you have to like make it somewhat friendly to him. Like give him that, whether it's like a 1.
I believe
or like after 2 years, give him the player option. I mean, he's getting a little older, but he's carried your offense, which he shouldn't have to be.
No,
I like that number. 2 for 32, and then give him like a 3rd-year option for like another 15 million or something.
I'm fine with that. I'm very fine with that deal. Or just make it a 1 year for like 18 with the 2nd-year option. If
that's
he's
the thing. Like,
that old.
Well, I was gonna say, like, if you're Jose Abreu, right? You're looking, because we've talked about it all this year. He's the one who busts his ass, right? He's like the guy who shows that he wants to play every day. And I heard this talk after Tuesday's game with Herb Lawrence on CHGO. And they're talking about what if Jose Abreu is like, hey guys, I know loyalty. I know Jerry said, hey, I'm going to be here for my life, but the team around me is not showing the same heart and hustle that I do.
Yeah, I want a
I'm
ring,
tired
bro.
of this shit.
Yeah,
I'm going to a real contender.
And to be honest with you, I wouldn't be mad at him at all. I'm sure certain people would wish he would die, but I wouldn't be mad at him at all. I would be
So,
like,
No,
I
I
think-
agree.
So
Go
like
get yours,
I
bro.
think you have to like sweeten the pot with him a little. Like I think if you're like, hey, here's a 1-year deal, he'd be like, fuck you, Rick.
But also, I really think Jose is the type of guy, and we've seen this before, where he actually gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Like being on the White Sox like means something.
Like
to
that
him.
means Like
And
yeah,
so I
this
think
has been
maybe
his career.
I think 2 for 32 is like fair. I think as a show of goodwill, maybe you go like 2 for 35.
Mhm.
And I'm a little biased. He's probably one of my favorite White Sox players of all
Well,
time. So I'm a little
because of
homerish. But-
because of your age and stuff like that. Why wouldn't he be?
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, this
He's
is your
done.
guy.
He's
Mitch.
done everything you've asked of. He's been
This
like
is
the
your
only.
guy.
Yeah, exactly. But like, you know what else like really impresses me with him? He's led the team. He's always healthy, which is a major problem. He's always there. He leads the team in games played. He's been excellent all year, and he's still like not happy with the way he's playing. He's like, yeah, I wish my RBI numbers were up. Like
You know,
that's the type of leader you want. Like
The exact quote was,
yeah.
"I didn't." His exact quote is, "Yeah, I'm hitting 308, but I don't have enough home runs."
Yeah. No.
Go ahead, Fitz. I see you keep leaning in.
Well, yeah. I'm looking over his contract too, and I see a couple of things that are pretty interesting. I was unaware that his 2020 salary was deferred. He gets paid $1 million every July from 2023 through 2026. And it depends on what the Sox really have to do this offseason, where they've got to maybe if they're strapped for cash and they're trying to pull back a little bit, and at least
They're not. They're
maybe
not
well, how many?
strapped for cash.
But maybe to defer it or whatever to spend on somebody else or elsewhere in other spots. You could theoretically tack on more of a salary on there, but I mean, first off, you got to ask, what does Jose Abreu look for? What's the end game for him? What does he intend to stick around for? So if he's trying to stick around for 3 more seasons, that makes a difference. If he's only got 2 more in him, that obviously makes a difference, and that depends. But I agree with you on the player option. I think that you probably pay him heavier up front because of the performance is going to be good now. And you have obviously so you front load the deal, whatever it is, you give the player option, and you also make it very tantalizing to have a back end of this contract in case you're maybe at an all-star break or a trade deadline, and someone's looking for a rental, you can still sell them a pretty inexpensive contract for the rest of the season.
I'll
And
tell you what, I wouldn't be mad if he left and went to a contender via free agency. If they trade him at the deadline, I would be mad.
Yeah,
I
I agree.
feel like that's two very different things.
Totally agree, but I don't think he will leave. Simply, I don't think it's in his personality. And you got to remember, like, he came out and said, like, look, if the White Sox don't want to sign me, I'll sign myself. And this is after he lived through the 2016 shit show. Like, people think this season's bad. Like, the 2016 season was a soap opera, too, with the Adam LaRoche thing. Got Matt Latos there. Chris Sale's cutting up jerseys. Yeah. Todd Frazier's, Adam Eaton are fighting in the dugout. And he's still like, yeah, you know what? I want to come back. So if that didn't phase him, I don't think this will. I think he still wants to stay here. So I am not too worried about him. But like you said, like, if he wanted, like, look, I want to play for a contender. You know what? God bless him. But
like, yo, bro, I'm gonna go play in for the Dodgers for 2 years and then call it a career. All right.
And we saw it with Pujols. I mean, weird things happen.
That's so cool. I love the Albert Pujols shit. I hope he hits 700. I know.
Same.
Like, I would like if he was doing this with like the Baltimore Orioles, I would love it too.
I know. No, and I get that. I 100%. I get that, and I respect it. I do.
It means nothing to the Cubs right now.
Oh,
it's really a lost season for the Cubs. So swing away, Albert. Go on one last ride.
You have to bring back Abreu.
You don't trade Eloy.
And you can't. No. So like, and the good thing is, because I do remember earlier in the season and or after 2021, I was not a believer in the Gavin Sheets breakout, and he showed like the first half he was brutal, but he went back to the minors, and ever since he's come back, the second half here in 2022, he's been fantastic. So that trade value is going up, but do you keep him now because he's actually good, or do you trade him?
So I trade him, and I trade him for a couple of reasons. B-Flow brought up. We had a really good conversation on Twitter. It was refreshing to actually talk just like about actual baseball on Twitter with someone. But he can't hit for shit on the road.
Yep.
And that's including the Baltimore series. He always plays good in Baltimore. We already talked about that. But like, whatever. And he still struggles against his splits are good. We'll just put it that way. His splits
Mhm.
are not. If it's a
I
right-handed
think all his
pitcher,
home runs this year are in Chicago.
if it's a right-handed pitcher in Chicago, like that's like the craziest platoon ever, then yes, Gavin Sheets can fucking bat. But he's a liability in the outfield.
Mhm.
But there's gonna be someone out there that wants a younger power bat,
Yeah.
and they can get something for. I don't think they're gonna get something like crazy, but they can get something for Gavin Sheets. And so
I would, yeah, I'm totally with you. I think the biggest roadblock is like, where do you put him? Because we cannot have him and Andrew Vaughn platooning in right field again. Like, defense is a liability for this team as it is. Trotting first baseman out in right field isn't helping. You're going to have Jose Abreu hopefully at first base, and you want to insert Vaughn in the lineup any chance you can get. So there's really no spot for him on defense. So I think just odd man out. It's not worth, especially with the splits, like you mentioned. It's not worth having.
And I mean, he's 26 right now. He'll be 27 in June next year. So I mean, he's not exactly a young gun anymore, but like he's got the pop. Somebody will take him.
Someone will want him.
I mean, you could probably get a reliever or like a outside of 100 prospect or something.
Hopefully somebody who's better than Joe Kelly.
God damn it. That was such. I was so
I
excited
thought
for that guy.
Kevin, you know what that signing reminds me of, and like the money is kind of similar. And you hated this signing from the beginning, I think. And it's another ex-Dodger. Remember when the Cubs signed Brandon Morrow?
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
This and I think it's similar. I think his was like 2 for 19, and this one was 2 for 17. I think with Joe
Mhm.
Kelly, and
And
he's
so-
been
In his defense, though, did he take a contract the next year for like basically zero? And he was like,
he signed like a minor league deal. He's like, hey guys, sorry about just never pitching for you
Yeah,
guys.
sorry about being dog
and it
ass.
still didn't work out. So it's
Yeah.
like crap.
So I was, hand up. I'm always big on admitting when I was wrong. I was pumped about the Joe Kelly sign. I thought he was
Me
going to bring
too.
some life. I thought it was going to be fiery. I didn't know. I guess this is just straight ignorance on my part. I didn't know he had that thing in his contract where he couldn't pitch back to back until July.
I don't think anyone did until it came out. Like, it was not like well reported.
And the other thing that kind of pissed me off about it not working out, and this is a hindsight, but like this was Tony making that phone call to his boy, being like, "Yo, I'm running the show here. I got a spot for you. Sign here. Let's go." Can't stay healthy. Struggling with command. It's brutal, dude. It's a bad signing. I mean, there's
I
no.
don't fault him for it though, because I think at the time it looked like a great signing, and he looked like a great fit for this team, like personality wise, bullpen help.
Yeah.
I don't fault Rick Hahn for that one as much. It just didn't work out.
I have this thing that I need to be better at where no matter who the White Sox sign, I get excited. Like I convince myself it's a good signing. Like the White Sox have never signed someone and my immediate reaction was, what the fuck are you doing?
Adam Eaton?
No, there was one.
What about Adam Eaton?
Well, Adam
That
Eaton.
one I was
Eaton.
pumped when
Adam
we got
Eaton,
Lance
okay.
Landon. I remember the next day we got Adam Eaton. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like that was
Adam Eaton. Yeah, and Nick, I agree with you watching us on Facebook. Thanks for following along the show. I wanted him because what he did with the Astros.
Yeah.
And the shit he gave the Astros, but I just wanted that kind of attitude because the whole season before, remember going into the season, the catchphrase that Lucas Giolito and all these guys were saying is we need to learn how to step on people's throats. We need to learn how to finish them. Joe Kelly has been that guy. So I thought okay, if this is going to be the mentality going into this season, then yeah. The problem is they have never had the opportunity. They're swinging up the entire season. You know what I mean?
It's so I think who talked about it? Was it Lynn or Cueto who or I forget who it was exactly, but they're like the White Sox just had this overcockiness when they didn't earn it at all. They haven't won shit. They went to the playoffs back-to-back years. They
Yep.
won a division title last year, and then they were bounced very fast from the playoffs. And
They
they
don't
came
lose the
into
division to the-
2022 acting like they're the shit. And I
Yep.
mean, for what?
Yeah. I mean, they're going to lose the fucking division to the Cleveland Guardians. Like, props to the Guardians, man. They've had some guys play way out above what
Mhm.
people thought. But, if we got in the time machine here, hopped in the old DeLorean and went 3-4 months back, and you told me that,
No, I think it's funny. Before the season, more people would have thought the Tigers would have been in contention with us than the Guardians.
hand up. I'm one of those people. 100%.
Now,
Their
I
prospects have grossly underperformed.
Yeah,
and I think their big guy got hurt like right before opening day. Green.
Yeah,
Right,
he's
like,
playing. He's
he's
playing now.
playing now, and he hasn't been good. Torkelson shown no power. I think he got sent back down.
He
Yeah,
got sent back down. Yeah,
I
and
never
mean,
liked Spencer Torkelson based on his name. I thought he was always gonna be a
it
bust.
does sound like an accountant. Shout out
They
to the
gave the Cubs a
accountants.
treat. They gave a Cubs a treat by letting is it Reyes?
Oh, no, it was Cleveland.
Well, that's
Cleveland let go of friend guys.
Yep.
I
Who's
never
just
got out of
hitting
Cleveland
bombs all
just because
over
their
the north
pitching.
side.
Their pitching is
Hey,
so good.
way to boy. Elvis Andrus with a solo shot. Let's
There
go.
you go.
Sox up 2-1.
Oh,
Elvis
I
Andrus
must
been
be
the best
behind. I
move.
just saw Rami Gonzalez get thrown out.
Elvis Andrus just hit the best. He's been the best move they made, also, including the offseason.
Johnny Cueto's better,
Johnny
but
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Those are both good moves, though. They're both
Positional.
Yes.
veteran dudes.
and they were both out of necessity. They're like, all right, he's available. No one wants him. Let's sign him.
Right.
So I'm like, I'll give him credit for
Yumper, don't be mean. Don't be mean in the comments, Jumper. Don't be mean.
That's right, Jason Hayward. He's going to be out there. He's going to be free
Don't be
agent.
mean. I don't think that'll happen. But
What was I going to say? I
okay,
never
I guess
counted out Cleveland because of their pitching, but their outfield. I do remember. Like I didn't know anyone in their outfield.
no. I mean, it was like Jose Ramirez, and then like who else does
Guys.
Cleveland have? Naylor.
Oh, that's a bomb by
But
Andrus.
That was a bomb. He pimped that thing.
yeah, which is good.
Got that front.
Maybe this is where the White Sox turn it around.
Nah, I'm done.
I know.
I was drinking the Kool-Aid 2 weeks ago, and now I look like an ass listening back to that.
Well, you, unfortunately, for those that don't know, my guy Mitch here was at the game where the White Sox gave up 3 touchdowns,
Yeah.
and that would dampen any man's.
I hung in there till it was 18-5, and that's when I tapped out.
You are a better man. I mean, if you were drinking or something, like maybe if you were just like having a good time, okay, I kind of get that. But like 18, oh, buddy.
Well, this is a good time to ask. So last week we went around to see because I think we've all pretty much throughout the ups and downs, throughout the roller coaster season of the White
Thought
Sox,
they were going to win the division.
we've all pretty much maintained I mean they'll turn it around eventually. The division is weak. The White Sox are gonna eventually win it. Last week I think I was at a 5. Zoe, you were at a 6 confidence wise. Kevin, I think you were at a 7.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch was away. But so let's go around so Mitch, confidence level that your White Sox will win
1 through 10.
1
10
through
is 100% going to win the division. 1 is it's over.
About a month ago, I said it was a 95% chance they win the division. So it's probably going to come down a little bit from there. I'm going, I think, a 5.
Still at a 5.
That's
Still a
high.
The schedule is so easy and the division is so underwhelming that there's still a chance with how much talent there is. Like, you're giving me no reason to do it, and it's probably too high. I realize it's too high, but why not? They've disappointed me before.
God bless you, Mitch. I love
right,
youthful optimism. I'm at like a 2.75.
Oh man. Kevin.
Hey,
It's just
you said too high, Mitch, but maybe I'm too high because I'm still at a 6. I still think that this little, like you said, the stretch run with this schedule is winnable, and I think Cleveland peaked. And I don't think the Twins have anything left in them. With like
if they weren't playing Cleveland another 4 games, then it would be lower. But because of that, they have an opportunity to make up some ground. Now, have they shown any reason for me to believe that they're gonna make up that ground? No, but they still have the chance, and they still got a couple weeks to build some momentum towards that. So there's a shot.
fair.
I'm close to yours, though. I'm down to like 3.5. Because I mean, you guys can't beat the fucking Royals.
Nick in the comment section says I'm a season ticket holder and I'm at a 0. Yeah, I mean the Royals have been the White Sox Achilles heel this whole season, and
Who would have
2.75. But
the Cubs own the Brewers too, so
something else that I can see happening, and I don't think I'm being obtuse when I think this is a whole win one for the Gipper type shit happening.
like in Major League? It's like Major League 2.
Yeah, I mean,
Jose Abreu is now the head coach.
Yeah.
he basically is. But
Hey, I did
You
say
think Taylor?
the first move they should have made was make Jose Abreu player manager.
so
It's either a leg thing or a psychological thing or a social thing or a heart attack. Who said
Who made
that?
up that excuse?
Me. That's Tony's speech this morning. Maybe yesterday.
So wait, okay. Let's go Orioles. They beat the Guardians 4-0.
Okay.
Yeah.
Twins
so
lost
it's,
too. So tonight,
lost
dare I
five.
say, must win.
So if the Sox hold on to their lead Wednesday night, they'll be 5 back.
Yep. Also, can we talk about like how Gunnar Henderson with that head of hair hitting home run? Like, tell me there's another like a better baseball name. Like, he is a baseball guy. Like, his parents named him. Like, when he came into this world, his mom and dad were like, "Your name is Gunnar Henderson."
I was going to say that
He
sounds
either
like
had to be a professional baseball player or an SEC quarterback.
I was going to say
Or
he's
a front man in a pretty
he's
cool band called
Texas
like
high school quarterback. So Gunner.
Yeah.
Every gunner has to play like at least high school. He has to be the starting quarterback for his high school team in Texas.
Yeah. Like,
And he has to
that's
at
why I
least
said
make it
SEC quarterback. Like, he needs to be. Oh, they got to Tristan McKenzie too, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Tristan gave up. Ooh, bad
There
outing
is,
for
let's
him.
see.
All right. And I knew you got to know that Cleveland wasn't going to stay this hot forever. Like, I don't think they have the horses. I'm still looking at the box score from this game, and
Their pitching is
know
good though. Their
pitching is good, but like, I don't know
that's
any of these
what's
players.
going to keep them in it. So
I watch like 3 baseball games a day. I still don't know any of these fucking players on the Guardians team.
You know what though? They run. They hustle.
They do.
That's the difference.
They do run, but their pitching. I mean, it is.
They
it's
have
pitching.
They have dudes who just fucking like make a lot of contact. They
Mm-hmm.
hustle. Their pitching is very solid. They have 2 really good guys at the end of the bullpen,
They got a great.
and they have a great
infield.
player in Jose Ramirez. Yeah.
They do have Jimenez is kind of
all-star this year. Yeah.
he's kind of elevated his game this year. He's having a hell of a year. Naylor's just a fucking annoying dude, but he hits bombs. Jose Ramirez is probably, you could easily make a case for him to be a Hall of Famer. They had that kid, what's his left fielder?
Quan.
Quan. I mean, he came out of the gates hot. He's definitely cool. But for me to see McKenzie go 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, he still struck out 7 motherfuckers though.
I mean,
that kid,
you just went through his line. Like, that was a solid outing. They just couldn't score.
Yeah.
It's for him though. I mean, I guess for him that's a come back to earth. Like, he's been a world beater
He's been amazing
for like the last month. Like,
speaking
he's
of
been
pitching.
he's been a cease, like 10 Ks a game type deal. I've been banking on his Ks over. I didn't bet it today, thank God. But yeah.
So I think we talked about it last week. He had a good bounce back outing, but then the Royals lit him up again. Lucas Giolito, like, he's putting up like his 2018 numbers.
So we're talking about off season. What do we do with Lucas Giolito?
He's cost himself a lot of money. If anything, the White Sox, Rick Hahn will be right in his alley. We're like, team-friendly deal.
Well,
All
yeah,
right.
He's like, hey,
remember-
Lucas, you want a fucking long-term extension now?
Yeah, because remember before the season, it was the whole they were nickel and a dime. It was like 20.85 or 20.45 million or something like that. But
Mhm.
like
It was like 50K difference.
like for the arbitration, and I mean, as shitty as it sounds, and you will very, very, very rarely hear me side with owners and management, but they might have got this one right.
Dude, but this is the problem I have with arbitration. It's such a brutal process that they probably hurt so many feelings.
Oh yeah.
There are things that have to lead to someone underperforming.
Yeah.
If that has performed in the past, and you have to think that maybe perhaps the acrimony that came from that whole ordeal kind of was a black cloud hanging over his head all season when he was kind of like, fuck you, and it just then it kicked in. His mental headspace wasn't great to come out of the gate. You come out the gate struggling, and all of a sudden it just starts to compound, and it just kind of everything else going on in that clubhouse, and with the wins and losses and just the drama, and all of a sudden you're in your worst nightmare.
I totally agree. Because and you got to think from his perspective. All right, he turns it around. He put together 3 good seasons in a row, and he had a fantastic start in his one playoff game. And so now he's thinking look, I put together 3 good years. You're going to nickel and dime me over this. Like, I thought he wanted an extension too, and he didn't get one. And then he comes back and they're going to nickel and dime him. So he's like, wow, I thought I was worth more to this team. So I think mentally that definitely affected him heading into the year. Like, it's not a big confidence boost for you when you don't think the organization believes in you.
Yep. And Nick, Stay hot, Nick. You're killing it in the comment section tonight. He says Lucas lost 3 miles an hour on his fastball. 93 and 96 is a big difference. Opponents are now waiting on off speed.
And what's the best pitch is changeup, and now it's not nearly as effective.
And it's clear as day. And as Jumper says too, and we talked about this a couple times this season, though. I mean, he came in and it was like, "Whoa, this is swole Lucas." Like he beefed up a little bit, but he basically said he thought gaining the weight and putting on the mass would help him, but basically his body is not allowing him to do what he used to do, and he doesn't.
Part of that is though. He was talking about this with Chuck Garfien on the White Sox Talk podcast. A big portion, it wasn't even the weight gain, he said, after he got COVID. And it wasn't from COVID, but like a week after he got COVID, he got sick again. And the second illness, he said, like really knocked him out. And it took him a while to recover from that. And he was just, I guess he was like really weak after that. And his body just like wasn't the same afterwards. So I think it was more like that than anything to do with the weight gain. I think a lot of it was he got sick and then coming hurt. He just never fully recovered after he got sick.
But so where is he at contract? He's got one more year, right?
2023 is his last year for arbitration before he becomes a free agent. Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Do you try to trade him? I mean, that's selling low.
Yeah, that's the thing because he's coming off like one of his worst years.
Right, but you got to think.
Yeah.
You got to think that somebody's like, well, we can just revive that. That's, you know what I mean? That's one off season of cutting weight and getting back into whatever. But like, I don't think they're gonna. I don't know, man. There's so much things
I
that
would bring him back.
Yeah, you have to bring him back because here's the thing, though. You cannot expect a repeat of a Johnny Cueto season next year.
Oh no.
So
I would still give Johnny Cueto another year.
Yeah, but you still need like Lucas Giolito
Right.
to at least, hey, but I mean, maybe it was the COVID because I think there's a great article, maybe the end of last week in the Athletic about how COVID's affected some athletes across different sports. There's a few stories about baseball players, and then Yohan Moncada was a guy too who, he had it, and I mean, it seems like it took a heavy toll on him, and he still hasn't really looked that great. So maybe it is just like, hey, that just knocked him down, and he just hasn't been able to recover, get that normal strength that he has to get ready and to prepare for a full season.
Yeah.
I do think, and I'm seeing some of the stuff too. I think though for him as well, I think I hate to say this, I'm looking at the numbers for the logs with his velocity. His velocity is not. It's not massively different than last year. It's his ups and downs are a little bit different. When his velocity got low, it looks like for him at early June this year or last year. This year he hit his low velocity sometime in late, maybe mid to late June. But he also didn't throw nearly as much in April as he did last year in 2021, which he threw in April a bunch, at least 3 starts or early April. So he had a different start. It was just a different thing for him. So his velocity is not massively down, but the go get him, the fighter mentality is gone for a second. It's just
and I think too, to that point, Fids, I'm not so. I mean, the velocity is one thing, but I also don't think his fastball moves.
Yeah,
it's very flat, and
no run.
I don't think it's so. Sticky stuff. So the sticky stuff comes up a lot, but it hit him for a little bit, but he definitely did bounce back from that. I don't think that's like a long-term thing. I don't think it's the sticky stuff. I understand why people would bring that up, but I just don't think that's it. But
I do think that the addition of weight probably does play a part too. Yeah. I mean, he's getting around different body parts now. He's maybe if it's in his core, it's alters your delivery a little bit because now you've got to use a little bit more of your lower body, and little things become little tweaks. But any slight fundamental flaw in your mechanics is going to put a ball a quarter of an inch back over the plate, and it's going to be a hittable ball as opposed to an unhittable ball. It's that easy. It's such a micro game when it comes to fundamentals, and putting on 20 pounds could do that. So it's entirely possible.
I'm absolutely loving Lance Lynn 6, and he's pitched 6, 4 hits, 7 strikeouts. Needed an outing like this from the big dog tonight on Wednesday night. But there's another story that I think we do need to bring up, and it's in the spirit of the show. There has been a couple of articles written lately about of Mr. Shohei Ohtani going to the north side.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to ask you two, you buying that shit?
I mean, the Cubs are definitely going to call, right? They have to.
Like, do you think like that? Like, do you think it's like possible? Basically, what do the Cubs? What do you even trade for an Ohtani? Like, what do the Cubs have to offer? I'm
So
not saying it facetiously. I honestly don't know.
Here's the thing. So Ohtani has 1 year left.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like a Juan Soto thing where it's like Juan Soto's still under contract for or before free agency for like under 3 years, 3.5
Mhm.
years. When you look back at guys, superstars who get traded with only 1 year left, the packages aren't as big as you would think. However,
That's what she said.
we're talking about like modern day Babe Ruth. So
I mean, this is like a once in 100 years.
it's a once in
player.
because
Like, yes.
because everyone freaks out. It's like, wait, well, because like the big name who's like had the breakout season this year pitching wise for the Cubs, it's Justin Steele. Like you're probably gonna have to trade him. Everyone's like, damn, like he's breaking out. He has like a 3.2 ERA this year. He's been fantastic. But it's like, guys, Shohei Ohtani would literally be the Cubs' best starting pitcher, and he'd be the team's best hitter.
Yes.
Like it's okay if you trade Justin Steele, you're getting a better pitcher. Like it's fine.
But here's the funny part. This is the ironic part about this stuff kind of coming out. I know John Morosi said that he wouldn't be surprised if this happens, and I think it's kind of backfires on the Cubs optics wise because we've kind of been trained over the last couple of years to get rid of the superstars and focus on the farm again. Look at all these great prospects. I mean, everything is all about, Pete Crow Armstrong and Brennan Davis and all this great stuff that's happening. And a little bit of the gaslighting has kind of made it like to the point where fans have been trained to prefer kicking the can down the road for these prospects because they think that all these prospects are going to hit like that class did with the 2014, 15, 16, with the Cubs. That was not normal. That's very rare. And they think it's going to happen again just because it happened once, like in 100 years. So, this is the big part about what it is. And so I think they've been trained to not. And the reaction from Cub fans has been, to me, some Cub fans has killed me. And you've probably seen it too, Aldo. Fans are like, no way. Wait until he hits free agency. Don't give up these prospects for him, knowing that he's never going to
You're not going to get that chance. Yeah.
Yeah, it's never going to happen. He's going to be traded to someone else. And to think that the Cubs are the only team that'll be pursuing him in the offseason is ridiculous. And so, to me, if Jed Hoyer thinks he wants to win and he's actually about winning and contending, he's gonna maybe overpay a tad to make this happen now. And that's a real big tell. If the Cubs are in, this is going to happen. If the Cubs aren't, and it's just kicking the can down the road again.
So
it's like the same thing that happened with like when the Red Sox traded Mookie Betts to the Dodgers, and it's like, oh, well, I mean, because like that was the big thing, because like that's right after the Cubs didn't go after Harper and Machado like in 18-19. I think Mookie Betts was traded in 1920, and he was going to be a free agent after 2020. And people were like, oh, I mean, it's fine, like he'll hit free agency. No, because the Dodgers immediately extended Mookie Betts. Whichever team, so if the Cubs, whoever it is, if it's the Cubs, whoever else, if they trade for Ohtani, you are doing it with the intention of you are immediately extending him.
Something though, I guess, to bring back an earlier point that we made when we were talking about selling teams, do you think the Angels now being for sale and that process already being initiated, like is this like going to that like liquidation sale? Like do you think like maybe that'll affect the price a little bit?
I think it could. I think you're going kind of like it's kind of like when you're getting ready to overseed, you scalp down the lawn first, and then you get it down to the bare bones, and then you throw down your seed and you throw down everything, and you let it kind of grow back again. And if they're doing that and they're kind of still in flux, you got to assume that it's maybe not lowers the price, but it makes it more probable of happening on a pretty fair way. A fair deal is going to get it done.
Here's how the Cubs can get an unfair deal and like a win for them, because at this point, again, yes, it's going to cost you some prospects. However, if you want to decrease that cost, you know what you do? You'd be like, all right, what's a bad contract you have? Add that in.
Yeah.
Add that in, and then the price goes a little lower, and it's like, all right, fine. Now we don't have to give up 3 of our like top prospects. Now it's only 2.
Mm-hmm.
Do that.
Would if the Angels say Pete Crow Armstrong,
will take Trout. Yeah.
Pete
fine.
Crow Armstrong and
Yeah, we'll take that bad trial
like
contract.
pick a
yeah.
pitcher. Would you make a deal for Ohtani if it had to involve Pete Crow Armstrong?
Yes.
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 Okay, I just want to make sure.
There isn't a combination of 3 prospects in the Cubs systems that I'm not willing to part with in a 3-person deal with those 3 guys. There isn't you can't combine 3 people in the organization that I would say no. It's not. No.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. Pete Crow Armstrong could like go ahead and like be like a 7-time All-Star, like
Cool,
maybe win an MVP with the
He's
Angels.
not going to be
That's
Ohtani.
That's fine because the Cubs are going to have like one of the best
And
players of all time.
You're getting your money back on your investment right away because he increased ticket sales, he increased jersey sales, and you have the international market. You have the best player in baseball, so you're getting a huge return on that investment. Like Pete Crow Armstrong is not being in the same business to Wrigley as Shohei Ohtani is.
That's how you got to sell this to the Ricketts family. Like, dude, you're about to take over. You're gonna go worldwide. You're gonna go global. I mean, the Cubs are kind of global, but not really global. Like like something like the Raiders, I think, are kind of a global like.
Well, they
team.
just got big homie in right
like
field.
the Yankees are global.
Shohei Ohtani's big as it is, playing out in California and like 9:00 games that no one can watch on the East Coast. Imagine him in a big market like Chicago. Like, I mean, I guess Los Angeles is too, but it's Anaheim. It's the second team. No one cares about the Angels out there. Big market like Chicago, like that, he would be huge over here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and that's how you can sell that to the Ricketts. I mean,
If it takes, like, there's basically no one that I wouldn't trade him for.
Yep. Nope.
Like, I love Nico Horner. He's fucking star. If they're like, hey, we want your top prospect, we want Nico Horner and one of your top pitchers. Well, Nico, you from the West Coast, enjoy your time in Orange County.
You guys. We're missing
3-word answer every time someone says, "Would you?" And the answer is
yes.
Yes. He's Shohei Ohtani is the response that it should be for any proposal that you throw across the table. Yes.
That's so obvious.
Shohei
You're all
Ohtani.
missing it.
Oh,
so obvious, and you're all missing it. How did the Cubs get homeboy last season? Yeah, how'd they get him?
I think they sent Tom Hagen to negotiate with him.
Who talked him into? Who did he credit talking him into coming to Chicago?
Nick Madrigal and Yu Darvish, but Nick Madrigal. I think they had the same agent, but yeah.
Get Nick involved in the deal. Let him do his thing. Wheel and deal. Get Ohtani.
Include him in the deal. Yeah,
probably. He probably wouldn't give a shit.
He'd probably love to go back on the West Coast.
I guarantee you, I have a feeling that
could work.
Madrigal's having a very good second half of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a feeling that, like, if Madrigal went and played for a team like the Angels, he'd be back on the West Coast.
No pressure at all.
Nobody's watching.
No pressure at
all. He might even be an all-star. You know what I mean?
Like, drew like a picture, and then
he's like that kind of guy. Yeah. Like, it's so West up that I can totally see that happening, though. You know what I mean? Like, but I am in the shadows very happy to see Nick Madrigal having such a good second half of the season.
Yeah. Oh, man. He's been...
His defense. It's the defense, though, that makes me happy.
Defense.
It's the defense that makes me happy.
Hit that
Madrigal and Fletcher on the same team. That would be funny, Ryan.
I mean, he almost won the game for the Cubs last night, too. He kind of squared up a ball, but it just was too deep, actually. Hit it too hard.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of like trade for like you said, like what chances do you think you even have? Like I mean, at this point, it's still low. It's not like like a 75% chance Cubs are going to trade wrong. It's like at like 5%. Because again, it's like an unprecedented trade because like we haven't seen a player like Shohei Ohtani since Babe fucking Ruth. So
yeah,
he's better than Babe Ruth.
I'll say this for the Cubs. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say this for the Cubs too. I think their second half of the year has really saved their season optically because the first half of the season it was like unwatchable team, didn't make any moves, no hope for the future. And now it's like, okay, the pitching's coming around. Madrigal's playing well. We got all these guys in the farm system. So I think you bought yourself another year of goodwill. But that being said, you cannot go into this offseason and not make any moves. Like I think now, because if it's the same product next year, you're not getting the same benefit of the doubt. So like you kind of gotta add something.
And the other thing with like if they're in the conversations, if there's discussions to get Ohtani, I mean, again, you knock off two of your biggest priorities. If in going
you
into
get
the
a
offseason as a
huge
free agent,
left-handed bat.
you
and
get a power left-handed bat, and you get top of the basically another an ace type
Right.
pitcher. So bam, you get it done in one move.
Right.
You get two stars on your team in one guy. They have to call. They have to call every fucking day. Once the off season begins, once the World Series is over, be like, call whoever the hell their GM is now because they fired everybody over there, and be like, what do you guys want? What do you guys want? Call every day.
You guys keep bringing up prospects, and I wanted to bring this up earlier, and I forgot. I'm kind of really digging this whole Project Birmingham thing.
I was gonna ask you, what was it? They just called up everyone from
They
advanced
basically
baseball?
Anybody that they think that they give a shit about, like they think has a shot at playing for the White Sox.
Man, imagine being left behind.
You're all going to Double A.
Even Jared Kelly, who's been brutal.
Yeah,
here you go.
You're all going to Double A, and we're calling this Project Birmingham, and everybody's coming up or down or wherever. But it's like a White Sox futures team.
All right.
And as someone who, as previously mentioned, is going through one of the most, if not the most frustrating season with my favorite team of all time, it has been fun. I find myself now watching Barons games on my computer. Or you know what I mean? It's the quality. It's
down horrendous.
It's kind of tough.
That's like 2014, Mitch. I don't know, or 2015. Like that's rebuilding. So
I know, but it's just It's not a nightly thing. But if
Zoe has to get to his happy place once in a while.
I see the tweet, with the lineup, and if I see Fidz's boy out there, and then Colas and Cespedes, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch a couple innings of this. I want to see, the mechanics. I want to see what the kids look like. I want to see, you know what I mean? But it's tough to sit through a whole one of those games, though. I mean, it's like you're watching what's that product called where you can watch your kids' little league game on your phone? I forget what it's called, but you can watch your kids' little league game.
Game Changer.
Yeah, something. Yeah, it's like watching one of those games. It's like a college CCTV broadcast. It's tough to watch, but I think it's really interesting. I like that they had the gall, if you will, to even just do this. I was kind of caught off guard that they did it, but yeah, I mean, it's been interesting to watch. I think it's only going to help some of these guys, especially if they are in fact turn out to be the future of this team. It's like, I've been playing with this guy for 3 years already. Something. I'm wondering.
It's something. No, it's something different. It's definitely interesting to see how it works out. At least they get a couple months to see what they do. I was going to ask you guys. So now that it looks like Tony La Russa is probably not. He's probably not going to manage the White Sox again.
Right.
We talked. I think I brought this up a few weeks ago in terms of what do you if you do trade one of the core guys this off season. I think Zoe, you said that you would prefer. Obviously, you would want maybe a new second baseman or a new right fielder. But for the most part, you'd be willing to give this group another run at it with a different manager. So now you're going to kind of see that with not Tony La Russa for the last month.
Don't let Jay Hay get hot.
But if we still continue to see the same, just not.
I see what you're saying.
Just the same product, but it's a different manager. Would you be more like maybe it is time to shake it up a little bit?
Yeah, I would. Yep. And I mean, this Tony La Russa news is all very recent. I had a very good feeling that this was it for him. This was going to be his last year at the helm. We all know that Jerry wouldn't fire him, but I think that there was going to be
mutually part ways.
Yeah, I think it was going to be a discussion, but I need to go to school, man. I need to learn. And please, people, feel free to tweet me at SouthsideZo. Put it in the comments here. Tweet at Pinwheels Ivy Pod. I need some managerial.
For the love of God, please do not hire anyone within the organization. Please go outside the organization.
No one's nephew, no one's buddy, no one's second cousin.
Yeah.
None of that shit. like someone new and fresh, and preferably under the age of 50 or 55. We'll call it.
I don't even care if
I
they're
want a
like,
young guy. No, I want a young
yeah,
guy.
I mean, that's probably fair. Yeah. Didn't want to be ageist, but you know,
Oh, I
you're
know.
probably
I think,
right.
I think we earned to say one thing. Oh, let's go, Romy. I think we earned the ability to say we want someone a little younger in that dugout.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Who is Yumper? Who are you talking about?
Oh, I think he used to be the bench coach for the Houston Astros.
Okay, I've actually. All right, when you put it that way, I got it. All right. Now hold
That
on.
guy's
We're
been
gonna
Ryan
we're gonna
Christensen,
we're gonna
though.
stay on the air. We're gonna keep this show going before we get to your NASCAR minute there, Mitch. Right now, the White Sox have bases loaded with no outs in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Like time to break it open.
You would think.
Do you guys want? Okay, let's do over under 1 run.
Under.
I'll go over just because Elvis is up.
I say over.
I'll
I mean,
say
yeah,
over
but
just because
all you
it's
need
top
is
of
one
the-
hit, and you would think they could score a couple
'Cause
runs.
I am
Gav-
not confident they would get that one hit.
Gavin Sheets walked. Jay Hay hit a single. Romy hit a single, or he bunted.
So now it's time for a infield pop up and then a double
So
play.
who's the-
Or
so who's
strike
up
out.
then?
You're ahead of us. We're a little delayed, though, so that's
Who's up, though? Who's at bat?
So Elvis is up. They just
Okay, okay.
did. They just now they're changing pitchers. They're bringing in Colin Snyder to replace Amir Garrett, and so
Yeah, they'll probably get 1 run out of it, but
I
they
think they'll get one. I
Yeah,
think
they'll
it's a
get
push,
1.
although I think it's a push.
It'll be a double play ball, and then they'll get the run on the double play ball, and then that'll
and then
be
a strikeout.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mitch, there's only one decision or one choice this offseason for the White Sox if they do go with a new manager.
They're
That's
gonna
Ryan
get
Christensen.
Who?
Ryan Christensen, bench coach in San Diego, was the bench coach in Oakland. He's followed Bob Melvin.
Sell him to me.
All right. Well, he as a minor league manager before he came up and became the bench coach with the Athletics. He won back-to-back AAA, I believe it is, championships in the Texas League. Was Texas Manager of the Year. And then, he was brought up. He started as a bench coach in 2018 with the A's. And then when Bob Melvin took the job in San Diego, Bob Melvin took him with him. And he's been in San Diego this year. But he's a really
I'm
well-liked
100%
players coach.
I'm 100% looking up how old he is, and
He
he's
is
48.
42 or 48.
I'm sold.
48, yeah. He played a little bit, but he was like a journeyman. He was more about like a minor league outfielder. So he's a baseball guy. And
They
so
make the best managers, though. You never want like a star player to be the manager.
Yeah,
We
and I'm
should.
seeing these people. I've already seen people say they want AJ Brzezinski. I've seen people say Scotty Pasetnik. Like, I don't want that shit, man.
It's not
Get
lighting
out of
the
this-
fire under any locker room. If that guy is on the pregame show, it's like almost
Every
guaranteed
Sox
I
fan-
will fall asleep.
Every Sox fan who brings up like anyone related to the Sox, they could never have been before. Like, I hate how the White Sox just hire their own.
Just get
Because you're
out of
doing the
this-
same thing now.
Get out of this bubble, man. Does anyone not remember Robin Ventura?
Oh man,
I love Robin Ventura
I'm
as a
still trying to
player.
get
He was
Robin Ventura.
dog water as a fucking manager.
bring back Ozzy. Bring back Ozzy.
Ozzy.
World Series champs though.
I
Bang
don't want
back.
Ozzie Guillen again. I want Ryan Christensen or whatever the fuck that guy's name is.
I think Christensen would be a great pickup. I think he would be. He's a guy that
48. I'm in.
he's not even. He's kind of halfsies with like analytics, but he's kind of he does. I think he checks all the boxes. I've liked him for a couple years now, actually. Before
Okay.
LaRussa, actually, I think.
Him or Joe.
He's earned an interview in my book.
Yeah, I already got 2 guys in interviews.
Got one in.
How?
Did they?
Fielder's choice. Oh no, just ground out. But it should have been a double play ball. He
Yeah,
fouled.
that was covering. That was better.
You almost got it, Mitch. You almost got it.
Royal's gonna royal.
I was gonna say like, how was that? I guess no, they must have had him shifted. How do they not get 2 there?
Stop it,
Yeah.
Jack. Stop it, Jack.
Or his shortstop was just getting to the bag. His
Yeah,
shortstop.
yeah.
I have
fell asleep.
another name. I have another name.
Who?
Will
Oops.
Venable. He's been
Ooh.
bench coach for the Cubs, bench coach for the Padres, bench coach for the Red Sox.
I don't know, Padres guys. They're trying to feed us here.
I feel like
Trade.
I'm
Let's see, he
catching up.
played for the
Oh, man.
Dodgers. He played for the Padres during his career.
How old is he?
He's like in his 40s, probably.
So,
I think he's like
he gets
41.
an interview too. He gets an interview too.
That's getting banged at the plate on a drawn-in infield on a hard hit ground ball. Like
Did that just happen to the White Sox?
yeah, you're dead. That's so terrible. What are you doing breaking
Will
first?
Venable is 39 years old, so
You
go
got
with
the
young
infield
blood.
drawn in. You're going to score if that ball gets through, no matter what happens. You don't need to break on contact because you're done at the plate.
Who
There's
was
no
on
that's not
third
a
base?
contact play.
It was Josh Harrison.
Oh, Jesus.
That's not a contact play. It's a contact play if they've deepened up at least halvesies in the middle. That's not it. That's not it.
Andrew Vaughn reaches on a fielder's choice, shortstop Nicky Lopez, the catcher, MJ Melendez, Justin. Oh my God!
All right, Jose, come on, kid.
Jose, earn that
Timely.
extra $4 million I wanted to give you.
Earn that 2 for 32.
We were hyping him up too
30-year
much.
player.
No,
Yeah.
he's gonna. It's not gonna work
If
out.
Jose can get on base here and get it to Eloy, I'd be feeling a lot better.
So are you going to be right? This is going to be a push.
I think it's gonna be a push.
What happened just now in Toronto?
The Cubs
Did another orgy break out in the outfield?
I just
Again,
oh, that's right. The Cubs were up. Okay, so yeah, they blew
won.
it.
Cubs won 7-5.
How about the Cubs, guys? Huh?
2 of 3 in Toronto.
It goes back to my whole thing where it's tough to judge teams when there's no pressure anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. I agree with that 100%.
I mean,
Especially because the other thing is, it's not only that, but it's also the Cubs have had a lot of guys just come up and make their MLB debuts. And like, as much as you can see in video, like these teams, they're facing rookies like they've never seen them before.
And I gotta say, I absolutely love what Baltimore's doing. Baltimore's having a great second half of the year, but they're just in a fucking powerhouse division.
Yep.
So they're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just call up all these awesome prospects we have, start getting them some major league tick, and get them ready for next year. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they weren't gun shy about it, or they weren't, oh, I don't want to, whatever.
Yeah.
Get Gunnar Henderson up here.
If you
Get
make
all
the
these kids up
playoffs,
here.
great. If not, you know what you got for next year.
And they could still get a wild card
Yeah.
spot.
Oh,
So
Let's
let's just get.
Jose!
That's
Oh,
right.
wow,
The
there
Cubs
you
lost that
go.
first game. I felt like the Cubs won that first game. Yep, the Cubs
Yeah,
only
no.
took 1 of 3. From
Now I'm
That
behind.
was the
How am
first
I?
game they blew.
How am I behind you guys?
Forgot
Now?
about
How did
Uh,
that shift?
foot speed mostly.
I'm not a fast guy. What did Jose do?
Jose
Little
Riggs.
blue, little Kansas City
Right up the
special.
middle.
Yeah,
Took the over.
You get 2 or 1 in on it.
Just 1.
got one. He
First
kind
and third for
almost,
Eloy.
almost got back picked at third though, taking too big a turn.
I'm feeling for the
Jeez.
wind. Eloy bomb.
Hell yeah.
Let's go. One time.
One time.
One time. We already gave Pito the pinwheels boost.
He's a good stroke. He got the job done. He just found some
Watch
outfield
Eloy
grass.
go for like over 20 the next 4 games.
Eloy's been good though, man.
He's
That's
such a good hitter.
He's very
Eloy Jimenez, if he just never got fucking hurt.
Oh.
Oh.
I was looking where that ball went, but it lost it. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I was ahead of you guys, and then now all of a sudden I'm behind you guys.
well,
So, is Luis Robert?
Dude, that still pisses me off
Okay.
too. He shouldn't have been playing. I mean, he obviously had pain in his wrist. He's out there swinging the fucking bat with one
Evan, that was
hand.
like KB. Remember all those times we would complain? Like KB, he's obviously not going to take himself out. Protect the player.
yeah.
Yeah,
They
You've got-
wouldn't.
it's part of your job as a manager or whatever of the team is to protect the player from themselves. I don't know how serious it is. If it's broke, like if it's straight up a broken wrist and it keeps getting worse for them, like in the standings, they just need to shut him down for the season.
And like they were so stupid because because like remember he got hurt and then he like sat down a few games and then they're
Yeah.
like, all right, we'll see how he looks in batting practice.
They refused to put him on the IL.
From that very first batting practice, he had that swing, like the one-handed swing.
Yeah.
It's like, guys, he is obviously in pain.
Wow,
What are
boy.
you doing?
Yeah, I just that just drove me wild. All right, so they got
2.
2 runs? All right, so the overhit on that. With
Thank
that
you.
being
Bottom of
said,
the 7th inning, putting up a couple runs to create some distance and some separation is nice.
this will be a big win if they can hold on to it. But with this bullpen, I'm not counting anything. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. If you're new to the program, this is the segment we do at the end of the program was called the NASCAR Minute, but that ship sailed. With our very own NASCAR Mitch. Let's go.
I'll try and keep it short this week, but there's a lot to discuss, so no promises there. I'll set the stage for you first. It's the last race of the regular season. It's in Daytona. Daytona is the great equalizer. It's a wild card. Literally anyone can win at Daytona. Super speed. So as it stands right now, heading into the race, there were 15 winners. There's 16 playoff spots available. A win guarantees you a spot. So 15 is a lot of winners to have. So there's one spot available. There's only 2 guys that have enough points to get that last spot. It's Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex Jr. Now, right before the race started, a couple days before, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, who has the good energy drink, but I don't like Kyle Busch, by the way. I know you said I'm a Kyle Busch guy. Not a Kyle Busch guy. Daniel Suarez guy. Anyway, he had a concussion at Pocono a couple weeks back. And so he revoked his playoff waiver. He's like, I'm not driving anymore. So another spot opened up. All of a sudden, there's 2 spots. So both Truex and Blaney can get in unless there's another new winner. So that's just kind of like the situation here. So race is going on. Early in the race, Blaney gets in a wreck. His car's destroyed, but he needs to stay in the race. Otherwise, he's not getting the playoff spot if a new car wins, and that's a good chance.
In the race when your car's destroyed.
So they're putting him in the pit stop. They're basically putting the equivalent of like duct tape on this thing. It should not be out there. It looked like crap. It was a beautiful paint before. It's just they're taping this thing up. It's sputtering around the track. It's like 6 laps down. It's really a pathetic sight. But he's still running on the track. Martin Truex, he's feeling pretty good. He got a bunch of stage points early on, and all of a sudden he's running up front, which kind of was not a smart move because he had the points he needed. Now you're running up front. That's where a lot of the crashes happen. Sure enough, late in the race, there's like 25 laps to go. It starts raining a little bit. NASCAR couldn't throw the caution in time, and Daniel Suarez, who's in front, he slips. Another car hits the water. They lose grip. Massive crash breaks out. If you ever seen the movie Cars, like the opening wreck in that is basically the equivalent of what happened.
I've seen it a couple times.
Did
heavy car hitter jump over the rest of the cars and do the Michael Jordan tug?
No.
Wow.
No, but there was close. There's a couple cars that got mini airborne. Nothing flipped, but like a bunch, over $4 million of equipment gets destroyed in this wreck, including Daniel Suarez, who's running up front. Disappointed. Who sneaks through? It's Austin Dillon in the 3 car. Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon's kind of a hack. I hate him because he has this terrible reality show. I don't hate him, but he has a bad reality show. So, I don't like Austin Dillon. But he sneaks through. Now, Austin Dillon, he's a new winner. So all of a sudden, Blaney is not in the playoffs anymore because he slips through the lead. And there's rain on the track. So NASCAR throws the red flag. They're like, all right, we're in a rain delay. So if they cancel the race now, they call it over, which they've done in the past. Blaney's out. 3-hour delay goes by. NASCAR keeps it going, waiting through the 3 hours. It's like, no, we're running the last 25 laps. So they get back out for the last 25 laps. Thank God for Blaney, because in the next 25, who else got caught up in that crash was Martin Truex Jr. So now his car's dinged up. He's back in the field now. Play resumes. Blaney sputtering around the track. He's working his way up. He gets back into playoff position. So now Truex is like, shit, we cannot have Austin Dillon win. Austin Dillon, he's trying to get in. His teammate, Tyler Reddick, he's already in the playoffs. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to be a good teammate. He gets into second position. He pushes them a little bit, kind of like chicken bait. Anyone that's trying to pass him, Reddick's throwing a block for him. He's basically like, if you want to get to Dillon, you're going to have to wreck me to go through it. So Austin Dillon gets the win in Daytona, gets the playoff spot. Truex tried to make a move late, couldn't get it. Blaney sneaks into the playoffs. So does Austin Dillon. So, wild race. Now, another funny thing, too. Well, I like Tyler Reddick. If you ever go to Guaranteed Rate Field, you'll see his commercials all the time because he's sponsored by Guaranteed Rate. You ever see the commercial with the NASCAR driver on one of the screens there? That's Tyler Reddick. So I like Tyler Reddick. Richard Childress, the owner of the team with Austin Dillon and Tyler Reddick, he's kind of an ass. He didn't give Reddick a contract. Reddick signed somewhere else. So they haven't been talking. Reddick's being a good teammate through all this, and Richard Childress won't give him any credit. So it's unfortunate. But yeah, there you go. There's a NASCAR minute.
Hell yeah, dude. First of all, anytime you can work in a Cars reference, I'm here for that. Second of all, I didn't know you can block for your teammate. That's fucking dope. I thought that was strictly from Shake and Bake, in the movie. So
no, it was only because he was in the playoffs, and I think he's trying to repair his relationship a little bit. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna
wait. Is this the same dude that fucked over his teammate last week?
No. That was Kyle Larson with Chase Elliott. So we like Kyle Larson for that. But the whole Hendrick team I don't like because they kind of have the most expensive equipment. And
what's this guy doing?
Joey Logano, so he got caught up in the wreck. He was one of the people that got destroyed. But he's in the playoffs anyway, so he didn't care. He was on a plane ride. Like when the time the race resumed, he was already sitting at his home watching it on TV because he had a plane ride out of there.
Bro, a 3-hour rain.
Hold on, put that hairline back up. That's just like
3-hour rain delay in NASCAR.
Look at that.
You know
They really wanted to get it in.
You know how many Busch Lights were consumed?
Like just
So the Saturday or the Friday night race was worse. So NASCAR was supposed to race Saturday night, the main Cup race, and that got canceled. They're like, all right, we're gonna schedule for Sunday. But they have like their AAA series, like Xfinity, which is the equivalent of like AAA baseball. So they race Friday night, and they knew NASCAR was racing Saturday, so they had to get that race in. And there was rain once again because it's Florida in the summer. That race finished at 1:30 in the morning between delays, just cautions coming out and wrecks. So it was a disaster.
Literally, I'm going to look up the police blotter for that area for that night, because it had to have been lit, dude. I've been to a race in Daytona. I've been to the Daytona 500. I didn't go inside, but I was there.
There you go.
Parking lot was fun as hell, dude.
I believe it. Those rednecks, they know how to party.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why when you said 3-hour rain delay, I'm like, bro, shit is getting buck wild.
Well, I think part of it was because they didn't want to have the conspiracy like NASCAR. Like fans will always be like, "Well, they just didn't want Blaney to get in," or like, "There's going to be conspiracy." And then,
why do they gotta have a southern accent, Mitch?
Huh?
Why do they gotta have a southern accent, Mitch?
There's a conspiracy theory. They're trying to help Bubba Wallace. No, the other problem was like this is like in depth, but like the guy that drives the Busch Light car, Harvick. Through the wreck, he was claiming that like I came out first in the wreck, but he was wrecking when he like came out first. And so like NASCAR is like, no, you weren't in first. He's like, well, that's bogus because I maintained speed. And they're like, dude, you were wrecking. So I think that was the other reason. They're like, look, if we just finish the race, then he can't claim he won it. So like there's a lot of reasons they had to sit through that delay. There's too much on the line. If this was mid-season and it wasn't the last race of the season, they would not have done a 3-hour rain delay. I don't think.
It's all them fucking NASCAR conspiracy theorists.
But our field of 16 is set, so it should be a very interesting playoffs. NASCAR is going to get very.
They all race for the Piston Cup.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
The dumbed down version.
All right, thank you. Do we get No, dude. Let's go back and listen to the beginning of the show, bro. We covered that in detail. There's a reason why he's still unemployed. There's your summary.
And that he never mind. I got nothing. That's right.
Build model airplanes, he said. Well, I'm not buying it.
Oh, by the way, this is kind of a cool note. Some guy won $1 million on that race because he bet on 3 scrubs to finish in the top 10. And because half the field wreck and they were running so far on the back, they weren't in the wreck. And so it was like Cody Ware, BJ McLeod, who BJ McLeod owns his own team. He's driving equipment from like Dodge, which doesn't even sponsor NASCAR anymore. Like, so like, it's like bad. It was like,
I like that guy. That's my new favorite racer.
Yeah, look up BJ McLeod.
Zoe loves
funny.
the BJs.
Yeah,
McLeod.
Who doesn't?
But like, yeah, it was 3 scrubs, and they all finished top 10. So like, a couple people won over. Like, there's a guy that won $1 million, and some guy that won like 700,000.
I immediately revoke. Oh wait, all right, these are better pictures. There was the first picture that. Are you kidding me with this guy?
Dude, he's a clown. He's like a meme.
I'm saving it.
There. He runs.
Stay here. Hold on. I'm getting this guy's picture up.
There was one race I went to, and he was like a solid like 2 seconds off the pace, which in NASCAR is a lot. Like usually it's like 0.5. It's considered like a lot. He's like 2 seconds off the pace.
Oh no.
Hold on.
Here we go.
Let me see if you're going to use the same picture that I am. This guy's a clown. Oh my god.
He was outside the Cleveland Guardians game the other day because I guess his car was sponsored by like Zappers, or sponsors like the Cleveland Guardians too. So like, oh, come meet BJ McLeod outside the Guardians game Friday. And like no one showed up because BJ McLeod, no one knows who the fuck he is, but it's kind of funny.
Hold on, how do I say this?
Jack, your post makes me jealous. Very jealous if you're going.
Hold on. I'll have this guy up in just a second. You got to see this clown.
They'll be in their element, Jack. It's fantastic.
All right, come on, upload. All right, look at this guy.
What? What is Billy Ray Cyrus?
I mean, come
He's
on. Now.
He's in his top 10. If you ever want to win money, you just pick a super speedway race. Like when Talladega's coming up, just pick 3 random drivers, and you have as good of a chance as anyone because someone's going to.
That
did
guy
Garth
was like
Brooks
in 20
Chris-
reality shows in the 2000s.
How did he
Really?
bring Chris Gaines back? Like Garth Brooks brought Chris Gaines back. I don't even.
Oh, these pictures just keep getting worse when you scroll through it.
No, he also kind of looks like the bad guy from Kindergarten Cop. Except
Yeah. Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He looks like the bad guy from Kindergarten Cop. 100%.
Look at that! Look at that! Look at that!
That's the hair.
It's worse
dude.
when he
Yes.
slicks his hair back because like right now it's just like straight back. He doesn't even have the long hair anymore. He's a weird looking dude.
He looks like the bad guy from Kindergarten Cop. How did this guy get in NASCAR? Like,
Because he owns his own team somehow. It's like this crappy equipment. He's like driving like a beater car out there. Like, you can hear, it sounds like a lawnmower engine. He'll come around
His-
turn two. It's like,
What if he is the bad guy
hair-
from Kindergarten
his
Cop?
hair
That's
looks
not
like
funny.
he colors it with shoe polish. No one's hair is that black naturally.
Chris Gaines is.
This guy is brutal. I resent my support of this man.
No, you're a BJ guy.
I mean, well, that can go a lot of different ways. But his hair is like darker than midnight black. Like, this is not a natural hair color.
No problem.
There's no
I still
way.
think Kevin Harvick's your guys, like the Bush sponsored guy.
Yeah.
I think that would have to be.
Let me see what that guy
but-
looked like.
He's fairly normal looking, I guess, compared to the other people we've showed.
Yeah.
I love
Kevin,
how
what's his last
Zoe is
name?
doing the
Harvick, Harvick.
he's drafting his favorite I guess we would call them athletes in this sport the same way that people are like drafting their fantasy team because Tom Brady's so handsome.
Yeah. But I mean, come on, dude. This guy looks like he sells like bags of half weed, half oregano. to,
Dude,
like,
so
eighth
that
graders.
has to be your guy.
Henchman
Come on.
from a Batman movie. It's like one of the heavy.
Yeah.
Hold on. No, I'm definitely not a Jeff Gordon guy. All right, this
Shout
Harvick
out
guy,
Raven Stadium.
Harvick, this guy looks like just like a suburban dad. This guy definitely wears like those Hey Dude shoes.
He's an intimidating. A lot of people like when Harvick is in the zone. He's an intimidating dude.
This guy?
No, I'm like when he's mean. He is a mean dude.
Hold on. Hold
Is-
on.
I heard
I'm
Danny-
sure-
After the pit crew fired it, he's kind of like he's very cutthroat.
Hold on.
Is Danny Hamlin funny? Is he like
Yes. Yes, I
So
like Denny
this
Hamlin.
guy,
He's
this
fun,
guy
yeah.
right here
Yeah.
is intimidating.
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy, seriously, this guy looks like he's known for giving out like king size Snickers at Halloween, and like kids think he's dope.
No, he's kind of an ass. Yeah, no, he's. Well, I mean, he had an impossible job because he had to replace Dale Earnhardt. He was the driver of the 3-car right after Dale, so like that's like a really tough job.
All right, this is a picture. He's looking a little mean in this picture.
Just listen to him on the radio. Like it's yeah. There you go.
Oh,
He got into a fight last year. He got in a fight last year with Chase Elliott. You look up Kevin Harvick.
That's
Chase
why
Elliott
you like
fight, they
him.
got in a
That's
pit
why
fight.
you like him. Oh,
I don't even like him all that much, if I'm honest. Daniel Suarez is
Hard
my
to get
guy.
at.
Daniel Suarez
He's
is
a-
badass.
He looks a little small in that video. He looks like, how does he drive the car? Oh, there he is. Oh,
Can you guys hear this?
No.
Oh, you got to get to the part where he's like, they're like pushing each other. They like drag him into the hole.
He goes, "What did you say to him?" And his first line was, "I just told him that was a chicken shit move." All right,
Yep.
I like this guy. I like this guy. I like
He didn't
this
take
guy.
no. Yeah, no. Yumper's right. He kind of got like the. I don't know. That's more of a Logano guy because Logano, like I said, he's kind of a psycho. Like he's like nice, and then all of a sudden he'll go out there and like wreck 3 people. It's like, yeah, that's just short track racing. Yeah.
All right,
Kevin
well,
Harvick has the get off my lawn vibes.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
hold on. In this
totally.
picture, especially, let me save this picture. I'll pull this one up. But like, yeah.
No, he's definitely a get off my lawn type guy. Yeah, no. Although you hit it right in the head.
If you read the sign, it says no dunking in the gym. That guy.
Hold on. Let me see. Can I pull this one up? Picture.
One of these weeks, we'll just do a rapid fire through the field. You pull up the photo. I'll give you the 30 seconds.
We should do that for like the 16 that are left for the top 16.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, honestly, I'd be down. Depends how much time you have. I don't know if this episode's gone on long enough, but easily.
This guy has buried someone in his basement.
I mean, that's Mark Trust.
I'm telling you, he's an intimidating dude on the track.
This guy has
That's
has
uh,
buried someone in his basement. I do love that hat though. But yes.
That's the guy from. He reminds me of the guy from. Hold on. Shoot. Burn
Oh,
Notice.
hold on.
Burn Notice. He looks like the guy
Yes.
from Burn Notice.
Or have you ever seen the movie Shot
Freak
Caller?
Donovan.
It's like a more recent movie with Viggo Mortensen in it, and he goes to jail.
Ooh, I gotta look this up. I have not.
He looks like the dude. He's like the
Jeffrey
first,
Donovan.
he looks like the guy that's the head of the skinheads in the jail at the beginning. He told it. Oh my god, he really does. That's crazy. All right, sorry. So this show's derailed.
Hold
But
on. Put this picture up again. Put this picture up.
here we go.
Okay, now take that down. I got this one. Go back and forth. Wait, where is it? There it is.
Camera 1,
Camera.
camera 2. You're supposed to put up your
Come on,
picture
camera 2.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
Oh,
that's the guy. That's the guy. That's the exact guy I was talking
Yeah.
about. He plays the head skinhead in that movie I was talking about. That's the guy.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's who he looks like
100%.
exactly. But this dude definitely has someone buried underneath his like basement.
Yep.
Bottles. Yes. All right. So for NASCAR Mitch, the good Reverend Fids, Aldo, I'm Zoe. Stop being shitty humans, and we'll see you guys next week.